It's the weekly Armchair Kickoff.
Welcome back, everyone, to the weekly Armchair Kickoff podcast. And today it's our first show of 2020 in the weekly Armchair Kickoff podcast. So today I am joined by a full panel of guests. So to the right of me, I'm joined by Jamie McKay, the newest weekly Armchair Kickoff podcast regular. And to the right of Jamie, we are joined by William Bryant, the most passionate Arsenal fan in the group. And also down below me, right below me, I'm joined by the biggest Chelsea fan shithouse of the weekly Armchair Kickoff, Melody. And to the bottom right of me, we're joined by Dylan Donnelly from United All Day. Lads, thanks very much for joining me on this lovely Tuesday evening. Apart from Tottenham winning 1-0 at the moment, it's been a great day. But you know, regardless, it's an absolute pleasure to be joined by all of you tonight. So basically, as you can see, lads, in the thumbnail of the video, for people who are watching the podcast right now, we're here to review the Premier League results over the weekend, and most importantly, Gameweek 17. And that's what we're here to review. Also, we're going to be talking about the weekly Armchair Kickoff 2020 awards, which we will come to at the end of the show, where we will be given our team of the year 2020. We're not taking 2019 into consideration, and we're going to go simply from January 2020 up until December to 2020. And obviously, we will take into consideration the lockdown as well. So we will be taking that into consideration when we give our player of the year for 2020, and also our team of the season. So we will take all them matters into consideration. But first things first, obviously, the first thing I'd like to talk about tonight is the previous weekend's results that we've had this weekend. So this weekend, obviously, Jamie, I'm going to come to you first. Manchester United were the first team to play along with Aston Villa on Friday night. For United, this was a massive game to be playing before all of our rivals. Before everyone else, and we're in a title race at the moment. So, for you, just give your overall thoughts on the game against Aston Villa and kind of what you made of the whole game and your kind of overall feelings coming into 2021 about Manchester United.
Yeah, it's like you just said, just Happy New Year to all you lads, first and foremost, and anybody that's watching. Hope you've had a good time with your families, and let's hope this year's a better year than we've previously had. But just wanted to mention that first. But yeah, obviously a massive game straight away. Big game. We played before everybody else, like you'd mentioned as well, and we got the job done. It was a tough game at times. Villa are a very well organised team, and we had to dig deep and show that we've got a little bit more about us. It's not always football. It's about getting results, especially when you're like what you said, Keane. We're in a title race at the moment, whether people want to admit it or not. We are, and it's all about consistency for me. And I said to you just before we had the show just before Christmas, if we need to win ugly, then it's a case that that's what we've got to do going forward. And that's what happened. We got the job done against Aston Villa. Aston Villa are going to be a very tough game for a lot of teams in the second half of the season. They're playing some great football. Grealish is arguably one of the best players in the league at the moment. But from a Man United perspective, it was just a job well done. It's there's nothing more to really make of it now. It's on to the next one for Man U. It's not that I don't want to analyse the game or anything like that. It's a case of, for me, it's another game, and we've just got to get a stamp on it with regards to taking one game at a time, because everybody's sort of about titles and all of that now, which is great, and I don't want to be that guy that's not going to agree. Like I said earlier, we are in a title race, but I feel like we've got to take one step at a time, and obviously starting with tomorrow's a big game. I feel like, although we're making a lot of progress as a club, and I don't think we're too far off really challenging for a title or becoming champions in the next couple of seasons, maybe even this season, but we've got a big game tomorrow, and it's forget that it's the semi-final. That's important, but it's against Man City, and we need to be beating teams like Man City regularly if we're going to be the best team in the country again. So that's my stance on it. A little bit of a different take. very tough game. We've had a tough run of games recently, and we've got positive results, so all good. And we're marching. Like I say, people don't think we're in a title race, but we are, and it's about being consistent now and getting the job done. And sometimes that might come ugly, and that was the thing that impressed me the most. It was a tough game, and we got the job done. And from a fan's perspective, that we're making progress, because a few seasons ago, maybe even last season, we would have drew that game, and we're winning them games now. So it's a sign of a good team, as I said just before Christmas. Sign of a good team when you don't necessarily play well. I don't think we particularly played badly, but they played just as well as us. I don't think anyone would have begrudged them a draw. But we got the win, and that's most important. And it was a penalty as well, just to make things even more enjoyable. It was a penalty from Fernandez, wasn't it? So job done, and it's on to the next one for me, mate. I don't want to be getting too carried away with obviously, I know I come on shows like yourself, Keane, and we do quite a lot on here analysing the game and stuff. But for me, it's like it's done now. Like let's concentrate on tomorrow, and good 3 points for the boys.
Yeah, absolutely. Look, I do share them feelings. Look, I think we take it one game at a time, and we do have to look at it as take it on a game by game basis. And look, we don't know where we be in the next 10 games. I think that's something that's important. If in 10 games time we're still in around the same position, then by all means, yes, we can definitely say 100% we are definitely stonewall title contenders. But I think we just have to take it game by game, and it's have to be very kind of level-headed, in that respect. William, I'm going to come to you next, because obviously, like, you're an Arsenal fan, and for yourself, like, this kind of last couple of months since the Manchester United win, Arsenal's form seemed to go south, and there was a lot of talk recently about Mikel Arteta. People are saying that he deserves to get the sack. People are saying he's not the right man for a job. Arteta looks like he's after win the last couple of games, and looks like he might be turning the corner. I'm going to say might there. In that regard, and for you, do you think that's the case? Do you think Arteta has turned the corner? Are you happy with the weekend's 4-0 win against West Brom? Kind of, what's your overall assessment on this weekend's game with Arsenal?
On the assessment in terms of the game, I was not just delighted with the full-time score. I was actually delighted with how the team performed as a whole, because it was about time that we saw some good attacking football with end product and actually put the ball in the net. I'd say it was probably Arsenal's best performance of the season, tied with the first game of the season against Fulham. Now, what you also have to put into context is them two performances are against Fulham and then West Brom. So West Brom, like, they're down the bottom and possibly going to get relegated, so you do have to take that into account. I'm happy that we've won our last three, pretty sure it's 3 games now in a row, so I'm glad to see we're slowly getting a bit more form in. Delighted, but then again, they weren't against the hardest teams. I mean, come on, it's not that hard to beat Chelsea, is it, Sean? Hey, he got enough digs in before lockdown. I have to get one in after. Honestly, I'm happy to see that the players are performing a lot better. You've seen it happen when we decided to bring in a few more youngsters. You've seen Emile Smith-Rowe, who many times on this podcast I was saying give Smith-Rowe a chance in that 10 position, because we were lacking the creativity. As soon as he's come in, he's played well all 3 games. He's shown what just having a player in that position who knows that position can do. And honestly, I'm happy with how things are going. And on to the next one. I mean, it's Newcastle in the FA Cup. I'm not too pushed about the FA Cup, given that we won it last year. Obviously, a trophy would be nice, but I just want to see our Premier League performance get better.
Said, William.
Go on.
But the fact you said, William, not to push the FA Cup, like, that's another opportunity to add a bit of silverware this season. When you think about realistically, from a realistic standpoint, Arsenal at the moment, this moment in time, you can't dismiss the FA Cup because of it saved Arteta's job, number one, and number two, like, look, you don't know where you're going to be in the next couple of months. So at this stage of the season, can Arteta really afford to dismiss the FA Cup?
No, he can't afford to as the manager, and like, we arguably do need to win the game to keep on the run. And I mean, we are facing Newcastle, who is a team we arguably should be beating. given like their mid-table Premier League side won't be an easy game. It never
Sure
really
is.
is, but it's a team that we should be beating given the structure of the club. But it's just the FA Cup I'm not too worried about this season. As a manager, obviously it would be nice to win it, but if we went out of it, I wouldn't be as pushed. I'd rather go for, say, the Europa League this year and actually go and try and challenge for that, which will be way tougher than the FA Cup, obviously. But I'd rather see a challenge in that sense. You get me? That's more where I feel like our priorities should be. And obviously, if we get an FA Cup run, good.
Yeah, absolutely. Sean, I'm going to come to you because, as William pointed out, obviously in recent times, on Boxing Day or Stephen's Day, as it's known in both Ireland and the UK, Chelsea were defeated by Arsenal, and then they've gone on back-to-back defeats now against Manchester City as well. For you, where are you sitting with the Frank Lampard regime at the moment? Because there was early signs this season that Chelsea were going to be title contenders, and it still very could well happen. But like in terms of the weekend's performance overall, what are your overall thoughts on the weekend's performance and kind of where Chelsea lie under Frank Lampard at the moment?
Yeah, like there's another 2 losses to be thrown in there as well. We lost to Everton and Wolves in between those games as well. It's kind of 4 losses nearly on the trot there. I think it's the lowest point of Lampard's career so far at Chelsea. Like last year, even with the transfer ban, a few of the younger players coming through, he played some good football and had a good season. This year, it's actually going flat. At the start of the year, like you said, that there was Chelsea's name has been thrown in the mix for a title race. Before the season started, like I was saying to myself, I wasn't expecting too much. I thought at the start of the year we would have dropped a lot of points with the players gelling and everything, the new players coming in, and I think when we played a lot of the kind of the lower sides in the league and we threw that 17 game unbeaten run in, I kind of got my hopes up a bit, like too much. I was forgetting about what I was saying at the start of the season, thinking we're actually going to challenge for the title, and Martin brought back down dirt in the last few games. And like you know there, like with Ole and Arteta, like there was points of the season where they were on the brink as well of like being sacked or talks to them leaving the club and that, like, and that's where Lampard is at now. But the only difference I think in the situations is it's not that we're getting beaten the last 4 games, it's how we're getting beaten. Like the 4 games we played, there's been no creativity. It's the same thing. Fullbacks cross, back out to the fullbacks again, cross, and Lampard seems to be fairly kind of like dead on the line. There's no encouragement or enthusiasm there. He's kind of arms folded the whole time and stuff. And I just got the sense from the City game, I just don't know if the players were playing for him. There wasn't much of a fight there. It's just, I don't know, I'm starting to lose a small bit of faith. But like I said there, and I said Arteta and Ole were on the brink earlier on in the year, all it takes is a few wins again to get Lampard's name in the good books again and get Chelsea back in there for a top 4 race. Title race is out of the question for me for Chelsea this year now. It's just a matter of trying to get top 4 at a push third, I think. Like, but yeah, I don't know. It depends in the next 1 or 2 games now whether Lampard's going to be there or not, or who's going to come in. It's going to be tough to say, and especially with January there, we could easily spend another 200 million in our team. Hopefully that gives a bit of a kickstart, like get Declan Rice in or something. But yeah, no, it's looking a bit bleak at the moment. Just that City performance was just so dead. There was no fighting the players whatsoever. There was no excitement in the game. Like, but yeah, I know what can you do? Everyone has their low points throughout the season.
Yeah, absolutely. Look, I agree. Like that, there's points. Or me and Dylan, like if people go back and watch Devil's Advocate, for example, me and Dylan were having war here over Ollie. Like, do you know what I mean? And look, me and Dylan were actually on a podcast there last Sunday, and 2 of us to sit there agreeing about Ollie. Do you know what I mean? Like times change. I think football at the moment, you look at it, opinions can change over a course of a season. So it's kind of football at the moment. In this climate, especially like in this industry, your opinion can change over a matter of weeks, a matter of weeks in terms of results. You know, like, but you look at it this way. I think Frank Lampard. The reason why I think the scrutiny is hitting him hard now, and not from the pundits. The pundits aren't giving it to him, but like in turn from the fans, whether it's his own fans or opposition fans, is due to the level of money spent and the quality that's been brought in over the summer. I think that's what fans' biggest gripes with Frank Lampard at the moment is. And I think, like, look, there's still a January transfer window. Like, there's a lot of time to bet in these players. I think that's what people have to remember. And I'm saying this from an outside perspective with Chelsea. Like Tottenham done it when Gareth Bale got sold that time in 2013, that summer 2013. Gareth Bale got sold for 80 million, and then Tottenham went out and bought 6 players, and it took 12 to 18 months to the 6 players.
A lot of the problems with Chelsea aren't Lampard or Maria Granovskaya, because she's bringing in all these players when Lampard opted for centre halves and Declan Rice. She bought in them players to Chelsea in this current market because they were only the team that could financially bring them in the summer.
Another thing that you don't take into account with Chelsea as well, and with everyone on this panel, we'll all be able to relate to, we've got inexperienced managers, but it's a social media culture that's half the problem with football nowadays. People don't want to. A manager loses 3 games in a row at the top level and people want him sacked, when it's just not realistic. You don't get that in any other sport. It's like
that's true.
You know, it's like if, for example, Anthony Joshua goes and gets knocked out against a nobody, people think that his career's over. But it's just like it's like a
didn't that happen though?
Well, yeah, it did, but look at him now. You know what I mean? So it just shows, doesn't it? But
in football, by Tyson Fury.
Because of Twitter, like people jump on Twitter, and you even see like Ollie out trending when Man U win. Like, do you know what I mean? So I don't really pay attention to Chelsea too much, apart from like some Chelsea fans I follow, because obviously you'll know I'm a Man U fan. But I feel like every one of our teams is in the same boat. Like, it's if we lose one game, it's the end of the world, and we need a new manager because it's inexperienced. But I can't remember who said it a minute ago. I think it was you, Keane. Like, it is the financial aspect of Chelsea in that. But at the end of the day, they're not the finished article at the moment. They might have spent a lot of money, but Man U ain't the finished article. Neither are Chelsea. And yeah, sorry, Will, I don't know where you are. But I'm joking. Arsenal ain't the finished article either. And it's like, it puts even more pressure on the manager because the manager is inexperienced. But when you're given that level of finances, the fans automatically expect. And I always feel that with Chelsea. I feel like they're only a couple of bad results away from wanting the manager gone again. Like, they're a culture sacking club.
Yeah, that's wild.
And that's not that's not trying to be arsey towards you at all. It's the complete opposite. It's like they do have a culture of sacking good managers, you know. And I don't think Lampard, if he doesn't play the game like a little bit quicker and start getting results, I think he'll probably get the chop as well. I don't think. I think when Abramovich isn't seeing any progress with the amount of money that he's spending, he'll chop. He doesn't care. He'll get away from someone's feet, you know. And but I don't know. Like, it's a lot of money to spend, but he needs a little bit more end product from the likes of Havertz, and Werner looks a bit lost at the moment. I feel like he's trying to play as a sort of left-sided forward, but he's actually trying to play the striking role. I feel like Lampard could, if he went back to the basics and brought the boys in from last season and just studied the ship this season, he could potentially go and bring 3 or 4 players in next year. But you never know what Chelsea's going to turn up from season to season. They must be a very frustrating team to watch, because sometimes they can come and blow the league away, and then the next season they come fourth. It's like they're so inconsistent. Apart from when Conte was there. And he's another one. Like, he got the sack for nothing, really. I know Conte was a bit hard work, but like, when you're spending that amount of money, you expect something, don't you? It's like if you buy a football boot for 100 quid, you expect them to feel better than a 20 quid pair, don't you? You know what I mean? It's like, I think but social media in general, it is causing a massive problem with football, and we love it, don't we? We love bantering each other on social media, especially the guy in the corner with his propaganda. But no, it's not propaganda.
I've been naughty. I've been naughty over the couple of days. I could be going to Twitter jail very soon, so I don't think we'll talk about the propaganda, because I could be going to Twitter prison very soon. So we'll leave that out for a couple of minutes anyway. But since we're all talking about title races and kind of where teams need to be, it's kind of the next point I want to come to tonight, because this season, unlike the last kind of 3 seasons, this seems to be the most open title race we've had in quite some time. But actually, before I actually come to that, I actually want to ask Dylan a question with regards to this, because we got all of our teams reviewed, and actually I forgot to get to Dylan on this. With regards to United in that game against Villa, do you think that was a statement of intent from United? Like in previous years, like when we were false stone for a title. I know we're going to get to the title race in a moment, but there's been so many false stones in the last 7 years. Then, do you think that result against Villa, considering all of our rivals dropping points before us, and then the fact in this game week we're all before them, do you think that was a statement from Manchester United saying things are different now? And do you maybe think this team is more united than in years past?
I don't think it was a statement, but I think it was a good result, and I think results favoured us over the Christmas period. I think Solskjaer is learning, as we alluded to last week in the podcast with Jimmy on Red Devil Talk. You can see his in-game management's getting much better. Bringing on Nemanja Matic in the 65th minute against Villa sort of shored things up. And as Jamie said earlier on, it was just one of those games that we just had to get done. It's the same as the Wolves game. I think the Wolves game we deserve to win. I don't ever want to see United play Wolves again because they're just one of those, Nuno Espirito Santo has them so well drilled defensively. They're very hard to break down. And look, the Leicester City game, 2 lucky goals. I know Barnes scored an absolute scorcher, but Jamie Vardy, his goal went in off 2 and CB. That was a lucky goal. I think we were basically a kick of a ball away from picking up 9 points out of 9, which was a statement of intent, but I think title talk and title challenges is all extremely premature at this stage of the season. I think the next 11 days are going to be very big for us because we've got a huge test tomorrow night against City, and then we've got the Scousers next Sunday at Anfield. And if we win that game, I think then we can start talking about a title challenge. But I think now it's quite premature.
Yeah, look, I suppose when you look at the title race and you look at the teams who are potentially involved, and that's exactly what the next segue what we're going to come into tonight. But when you consider this Premier League title race, we're in kind of a COVID-19 kind of league at the moment, and every team they can't seem to build up consistency at the moment. And from my point of view, I think this year for Manchester United especially, and I'm going to come to all the other rivals as well. Well, I think for Manchester United with this Premier League title race is the most open one we've had in years. The last time we were in a so-called title race was in 2018 when City won the league by 100 points, and we're in the title race till about December, and then City went off and beat us at Old Trafford, and they just ran away at the league that year. Since then, Manchester United, we haven't been in any remote conversation for a title race. I think at the moment there is a conversation when you consider Liverpool aren't consistent, City aren't consistent, Chelsea aren't consistent. Leicester, they're good, but they won't be consistent. We've seen that last year, and they have 14 points ahead of Manchester United, and they dropped points. I don't think they'll be there. But you look at teams like Spurs as well, though Jose Mourinho, in his kind of first kind of full season, he'll want to be in there. You know him, he'd get results. So he just pulls results out of the arse, he parks the bus and he gets the job done. When you look at there's about realistically about 4 or 5 teams in the league this season who can definitely go on and do a mount of challenge to Liverpool. But I'm gonna come to Dylan actually first. I'm gonna go a reverse way around with the panel on this one. So Dylan, in terms of the title race, who would be the favourites for the title at the moment, all things considered?
I'm going to use the special ones analogy now to explain this. I think there's 2 big horses and there's a little baby foal. I think City and Liverpool are the big horses, and I think United are the foal at the minute. I think Liverpool and City are the favourites, and I think United are third favourite. City put out a serious statement against Chelsea on Sunday. I think they were absolutely magnificent. Ruben Diaz has transformed that back four, best defensive record in the Premier League with 13 goals conceded this season. Him and Stones look exceptional together. João Cancelo at right back. Ederson's a magnificent goalkeeper. Rodri in the centre of the park. And Aguero's only played 5 games this season and he's not scored. So City have got goals around the field. De Bruyne playing as a false 9. I think De Bruyne and Bruno are the best players in the Premier League by a country mile at the minute, and I think City are in good shape. If they win their 2 games in hands, they're going to be 2 points ahead of Liverpool, and they'll be a point below us if we win our game in hand. So City and Liverpool, because they've been there for a few years challenging, and because they have the experience of world-class managers, but I think we're thereabouts at the minute. But the next 2 or 3 weeks will that'll be more. That'll give us a more accurate reflection. But I think Solskjaer's done quite well. You know, we're unbeaten since the defeat against Arsenal on the 1st of November. Unbeaten in 10. We're the form side bar Liverpool last year in 2020, we picked up the most points. I think we're averaging 2.2 games, 2.2 points a game, which is championship winning form. So I think we have made significant progress under Solskjaer, which Keane will be glad to hear me say, because I'm not.
Say that again.
No, I know, but I'm giving credit where credit's due. Solskjaer is turning the tide, but trophies will merit to what extent that he's praised. But at the minute, we're in with a shout, but I think fans are getting a bit carried away.
Yeah, look, I retweeted this today. Instead of giving rival fans kind of the big in the last kind of 24 to 48 hours, I retweeted this today. Under no stretch of imagination do I think we're going to win the league, but at the moment we're just in good form, and just talking about a title race and talking about us winning the league is winding people up. So that's the reason why I'm saying 21 and every second social media post that I have out there. But anyway, and Sean, I'm going to come to you with regards to this, but I'm going to spin the question differently. Like, in terms of the title race, in terms of being open, do you think, apart from Manchester United, who aren't probably considered a favourite, do you think is there any other dark horses there, other than the Cities and Liverpools of the world?
If you asked me a couple of weeks ago, I would have said Spurs, but I don't know. I think there's a bit of inconsistency there against the smaller teams with like a low block. I think Mourinho's teams can kind of find it hard to break them down. I think they'll drop a lot of points in the way. I'm still sticking with my prediction from the season preview we done the start of the year. I still think City, I think they're going to nip in there. Like the 2 games in hand, there was no one really talking about in the last few weeks. It's just the signing of Ruben Dias, like Dylan said there in the summer when we had done the preview and I seen him coming in. City's big problem over like last season, or not season before because they won it, but even the year before that, was the backline could be a bit leaky in that. And I thought he might shore it up a bit, but like Dylan said, they have the best defensive record in the league this year. I think that's going to make a big difference to him now, especially with Aguero coming back in. There might be a few more goals for him to pitch in on. Obviously, Liverpool have a lot of injuries and stuff, and again, they're very inconsistent the last while. But that being said, like, they have Jurgen Klopp as manager, the experience there. He's always going to have that team fighting till the end. Even last year, now the few of the games they weren't playing well, but they're nipping in and getting wins and stuff. He'll still be able to bring that to the table to Liverpool. And then United. A few weeks ago, or even started the year, I would have been laughing at you if you said United were going to mount a title challenge, which like how the board were kind of they were leaving down Ole in the summer, like not signing some of the targets that you were talking about that you might have wanted to improve the team, like a DM and stuff, or Sancho. That didn't get over the line. But like the last while, just seeing how United are, like, say against Villa now, where it was tight, 1-1 draw, and they can still nip in and get a win, or the last minute winner against Wolves and stuff. If you can keep that up against the smaller teams, I think Ole does very well against the big teams as well. And if you can just keep plugging away, like obviously with the Champions League gone now, like Premier League should be a priority and stuff. I think a lot of the matches, if United get like another couple of wins, like 5 or 6 wins in, a lot of the matches then will be like cup finals to United, and they might challenge all the way. And I wouldn't be too surprised if they're there at the end of the season still.
Yeah, like look, I'm fingers crossed, Sean, that you're right. Do you know what I mean? Fingers crossed. But like, look, it's a long old season to go, and look, it just it really just depends on if Bruno Fernandes can stay fit for me, because he's the driving force behind this team. Like, look, for me, I think it's the most open title race in years. I think there's about 3 or 4 or 5 teams maybe that can win it if they can conjure up a bit of form. But again, it just all comes down to consistency. With this congested fixture list and this whole thing, it's hard to get consistency, and this is why I'm saying this title race is going to be open. I don't think there's going to be a team that pulls away and wins it by double digits in points. I think if a team pulls away, I think they'll win it by maybe a 7 or 8 point gap, but there won't be like a double digits like there has been, especially last season when Liverpool had the league won at Christmas, and we were just sitting here dreading how we had to listen to them fans. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like,
there
won't be a situation like that.
Yeah, it should be the best title race in years. Because like you said, City got 100 points the first year. I know Liverpool chasing all the way, but like the title race was over so early last year. Liverpool ran away with it. Like the last kind of like title race I remember between like 3 teams was the year of the slip, Stevie G, when he slipped. Chelsea, Liverpool, and City were going for it that year, a lot of the way. And then like the only other one I can think of after that is the year Leicester won it. But would you really call it a race with Spurs in it? Like, it's like
there was no race. I mean,
yeah,
we were apparently in it. Come on.
but like imagine having a race, a 2-horse race, and having Spurs in it. Like, it's non-existent. Like, literally got like Leicester probably wouldn't have won a game in the last 8 games and still would have won that league. Like, as far as like Chiellini said it, like they have a history of bottle jobs, and as far as like it's just, I don't know, it's just ridiculous. Like, yeah, I was actually kind of kidding myself that time that Spurs were actually pushing for that title, but yeah, I don't know.
I know Tim is watching, right? I know Tim is watching, right? And I know he clips up these podcasts. Tim,
they're the best club in London at the minute, though, Sean.
I don't know. I still don't know. Chelsea in a bit of a bad run, but
I don't know. Brentford ain't doing too bad in the Championship.
Yeah.
They're losing right now too, Spurs, but
yeah, but even I'm just going to throw this out there, Tim. I know you're probably watching, or you'll be watching this podcast later on, and he does my clips for me from my snippets of the pod, and he does a fantastic job. Shout out to Tim; he does a great job. Can you please clip up that last part of what Sean said, please? Because I want the pod, and I just want that to get thrown into the group chat later on. But anyway.
Yeah.
On to the next person, which is William. William, no disrespect, but at the moment, Arsenal aren't one of the teams in the title race at the moment. But you're in probably the race for top 4. But no, let's be clear. Like, you're probably in the race with top 4. You're 6 points off top 4, which isn't a lot in this current league. You look at last season. When you look at it, like there's room for opportunity for Arsenal. They can pull up a few results that they can maybe make a stab at top 4. Considering 6 points isn't a lot, but for you, when you look at, let's say, the top 4, and you look at kind of contenders in there, how many teams do you maybe think that are in the top 4 race? Because you have teams like Southampton, you have teams like Aston Villa, teams like Leicester who are being quite good this year. The consistency levels have been good from them teams. Do you maybe think to get into the top 4 this year, you're going to nearly have to be in the title race, considering the form of like the points gap between like first to like 6th or 7th?
I think a lot of teams definitely can say, yeah, they have a chance at it. You're gonna need to. This season is weird. Everyone's picking up points off of everybody. I mean, you looked at it there about 3 weeks ago. We were really close to the relegation. Now we're only 6 points off of second top 4. That's with 3 wins. So what would happen, say United were looking terrible, next thing you know, you've got 10 wins and you're definitely in with a shout. It's whoever can pick up that consistency that seems to be lacking. Because as soon as you think, oh yeah, team's picking up some you'll see what happened to Liverpool, and their creativity died. And they haven't scored in 2 games, and they've had 1 shot on target in the last game, and it was like 2 shots on target against West Brom, who we managed to score 4 against. Lol. But like, it's weird because like you're looking at it, we struggled with creativity. Chelsea are now struggling with creativity. If Man United lost Bruno Fernandes, you'd think you'd struggle a bit more with creativity. But I think the way you play, you'd focus more on the counter attack then. And I've said it before, I'll say it again, you're one of the best counter attacking teams in Europe. But it's weird. It's just whoever can build up consistency this season will actually get a chance. I think it's Man City's to take. They've so much just focused on their defensive problems that we've been complaining, saying, oh, they haven't been scoring much goals, that they haven't actually gotten the praise of having the best defensive record in the Premier League. As Dylan was saying, like, they've only conceded 14 goals this season, which for Manchester City, a team that is free-flowing football, looking attackingly, is amazing. I think once Man City start picking up their games in hand, I think they'll win. They'll probably win all those, even though one of them is a tough game against Villa. I'd say they will just about pick them off as well, similar to ye. Liverpool will pick up form later on in the season and mount a title challenge. I think United's title challenge will only end if Bruno Fernandes gets injured or as soon as the Europa League starts to pick up. once you start seeing that Thursday, Sunday is really going to start taking a toll on some of the players. Now, you've got some nice squad depth, but I just don't think it's definitely not up to the level of, say, Manchester City. And you're probably similar squad depth to Liverpool. I don't think their depth is very good. You're looking at all the injuries they have now. Go on.
I'm going to throw myself there now. I agree with you with regards to this, William. I think with the squad that would be similar to Liverpool, but I think when you look at Liverpool's strongest 11, you look at United's strongest 11. Right, Liverpool probably a slightly better 11 than us, right? But you talk squad depth. I think United have we have a better squad overall. I think like you look at Liverpool's first like 11 or 12, 13 players, right? Fair enough, right? But then you look at United's bench. Like let's say for example, you look at United's on paper kind of strongest team, right? You look at De Gea, Wan-Bissaka, Boye, Maguire, Luke Shaw, McTominay, Fred, Bruno, Pogba, Marcus Rashford, Martial. But then you look at the bench, you have Cavani, Van de Beek, Juan Mata. Do you know what I mean? You look at players like that who come in and Greenwood, Nemanja Matic, who could be in that team as well. There's a lot of squad depth there. You look at Liverpool, who they bring off the bench at this moment in time. Shaqiri, a player who got relegated with Stoke City. Do you know what I mean? You look at a player like that. You look at Liverpool. Jota is injured. That's a massive loss. I think he one of the best players in the league before he got injured. Jota.
It just feels like in terms of Liverpool, it feels like almost like their starting 11's almost lost that hunger, which you can kind of understand. I mean, they ran away with the league last year, the season before they won the second Champions League. And it's a mix of just fatigue, and that hunger isn't to that level that, say, other fighting teams have. That's what it seems like. And that's when they're coming up against West Brom.
I get really bad vibes off Salah. Like, if things aren't going his way, I've a feeling he could be trouble, but he's been going off the boil in the last couple of games, but I don't know. Yeah, I've seen a lot of Liverpool fans talking about it as well. Like, it seems like the last couple of games, attitude, like he doesn't look like he wants to be there and that. And there's a lot of talk in Madrid and stuff, but
let's hope he goes to Madrid and brings Mane, Robbo, Trent Alexander, and Van Dijk with him.
Yeah,
I think Trent, especially if he performs as well as last night.
I was speaking to a lad in
Can I just point out? Can I just point out something about Trent Alexander-Arnold last night? The best right back in England gave away the ball 38 times last night. Very impressive. But anyway, what are you saying, Jamie?
I sit next to a Liverpool fan in the office, unfortunately, and I have a bit of chat with him. And I was saying today, I get the vibe of because he's quite likes a bit of football chat, and he goes sort of like really close. As soon as I seen him today, I was like, nah, Danny Ings, and that was it. That was a set of the pace all day. And he when I settled down from winding him up, he goes, "What did you actually think about the game and that? Like, what's your views on Liverpool at the moment?" And I was like, "It's great, mate. You're playing great. Like, keep going." Do you know what I mean? But after that, I sort of said to him, "Nah, like in all seriousness," I says, "How long can Klopp go though? Do you know what I mean? Like where's the like you just said? There's a hunger there, ain't there? And once you've done it again, if they retain the title this year, how much of the hunger's left? Like you just said." And he was like, "Nah, I don't see it like that." And I was like, "Nah, but that's football. Like, you're always going to hit a bit of a brick wall, aren't you? Like, if you're winning Premier League after Premier League and Champions League, and you've got like a list of what you want to do when you start your new job, and in 6 years you've completed it all, where's the hunger to go again? Like, I think that's why we've had so much success as a club, Keane and Dylan, like with Ferguson, like because he was starving, weren't he? Like it wasn't like it was right. Yeah, we won the league. We'll have a wee party for a couple of days and we're on to the next one. But I don't feel like you get that in the modern manager anymore. Like I feel like it's always a 3-year plan, and once it's done, but obviously Klopp's been at Liverpool a little bit longer than that. But there is going to come a point where he's thinking, probably took this team as far as time for some fresh ideas.
Is he in contract for next year? Like, I think his contract expires at the end of next season.
I think it's 2023.
My theory on it, and I could be wrong. And if you disagree with me, then
the Germany job.
Do tell me. Not necessarily. Yeah. I do think Klopp's going to go for that, but I feel like obviously you. I don't know if any of you boys follow the SPL, but I do. And Gerrard's going to win the title this year. Yeah. So I feel like if he wins the title this year, he might give it another crack next year and try and retain it, because I think Gerrard as a player always wanted to sort of prove again, and I feel like he'll have that attitude because Celtic have been so dominant.
He always wanted to win the league as a player, didn't he?
He always wanted to win the league as a player, but if he wins the title with Rangers, he'll go down as history for stopping 10 in a row anyway. But I think people, and particularly the Scottish media, will be saying to him, right, you've won it once, but can you do it? And I think he'll give it another go in Scotland next year. And I feel like that will be when maybe Liverpool take the inexperienced route and take a shot on Gerrard. Sorry, I could be wrong. There's so many great managers out there, and loads of German managers as well. Maybe they'll want to stick down that route. Tuchel's available, but managers like that. But at the time, I'm sure there'll be world-class managers available that will want to go to Liverpool. But I feel like Klopp's next destination will be Germany. Yeah, I don't think.
Can I just throw up a narrative right now for Steven Gerrard? Can I throw up a narrative for Steven Gerrard going to Liverpool? Right, do you know the way he's win the league in Scotland, right? And like that, by no means am I disrespecting this SPL, right? But the level of the SPL won't be compared to like the Championship, or you're like going to the Bundesliga or going to even Holland and winning the league. But like, let's say, right, we throw Gerrard towards the Nolly situation, right? Gerrard goes to Liverpool after winning the league in Scotland, and then the results go south end, you know, with Gerrard in with Liverpool. Can we start calling Gerrard the geography teacher or something like that then, you know?
No, but Keane, look at look at what the Premier League has done now. We've got the ex-Cardiff City sack manager as ours. Arsenal have Arteta, who's Pep Guardiola's T-boy. Chelsea have Lampard, who was Derby County coach alongside his mate Jody Morris. You know, that's the way it's gone now.
We've all the legends.
Yeah, the modern manager now is, and to be honest, it's quite refreshing to have people involved with clubs that actually know the clubs and not have people coming in that don't understand how the fans and how the club works.
We'll have all the club legends back if Gerrard comes back. We'll have Richard Dunn City next.
That's the way it works, though, isn't it?
Sean Gover.
The ex-players are going to become the experienced managers soon, because that's the way it goes. Like your Ancelottis, your Fergusons that we've had at our clubs, they've all gone now. So then there needs to be a new group.
Wayne Rooney has come from Derby. Wayne Rooney.
Yeah, well, like Wayne Rooney, players like Scott Parker. I mean, I don't know what he's doing at Fulham. He ain't doing as good as me anyway. But anyway, we won't get into that. But, it's one of them. Like, there has to be a natural progression with management, don't there? Like, sorry about that.
That was brilliant. That was absolutely brilliant. Just coming on to the next point, and look, I suppose when you looked at managers, you kind of went a bit off base. But look, you made all the fantastic points, and it is fair enough. Well, I'm just going to say this now. I'm going to reiterate it. Gerrard becomes a geography teacher and he goes to Liverpool, and I'm just going to maintain that stance here. So I'm not casting out that rod around. But anyway, with regards to the Premier League at the moment, a lot of players seem to be breaking the COVID-19 restrictions at the minute. And to be honest, England, like the UK as a whole, and Ireland, even though like Premier League players breaking restrictions, physically doesn't affect us over here in Ireland. But some of us support the clubs and that the players are breaking these restrictions. I'm going to come to you first, Jamie, with regards to this, because you're based in the UK. Do you think with these, like today, like the Premier League announced there's 40 cases in the Premier League, which is the highest amount of cases in a long time for Premier League clubs during this pandemic. Do you think, I know clubs are kind of fining the players a week's wages or whatever they're fining them, but do you think there should be a more severe punishment in place for these Premier League players who are breaking these COVID-19 restrictions, considering these players are meant to be in the bubble and meant to be an example to the public?
Yeah. Obviously, I know you boys are obviously based over Ireland, but it's like pretty bad down here, and it seems to be getting worse down here as well. And funnily enough, I was having a chat with Connor as well about this earlier, the lad I was speaking to about Liverpool. Do I think the league's going to get cancelled? And I don't think it will go down that route unless things start getting a lot worse. But like when you look at it for exactly what it is, mate, like I think we're naive enough to look at it and think, like the footballers should be behaving this way. But the country is bigger than football. Do you know what I mean? And like the whole of the UK and where you boys are, Ireland as well. There's a bigger problem in society, not just necessarily footballers, and I feel like it's very easy to look at footballers and think they're a disgrace, like they're on X amount a week, but we're in this position because us as human beings ain't doing our job really. You know, you look at countries like New Zealand that bought into it straight away and celebrated New Year with their friends, their family, and their fireworks display and all of that. So I understand the question, and I know I'm going a bit off topic here, but I feel like there's a general problem in the mate. I don't think it's just footballers. There's some very naive people in general, footballers or not. But going back to the original question, I do think they have a bit of a responsibility, because they're kind of seen as the only savior at the moment to a lot of people. I know we've touched on the mental health aspect in that before, Keane, and I think that a lot of people are clinging on to like football at the moment, mate, and thinking this is practically all we've got at the moment. I can go out for a walk with a dog for 20 minutes and then I'm back in the house, you know. And people are like watching football. I know for me, like this is what I was saying to Connor today. Like I know I keep going back to it, but I said to him, I probably, and you boys as well, probably don't appreciate like doing something like this. There could be someone watching tonight that's had a really tough 6 months to 9 months, and they're watching our show and thinking, this is giving me a good like hour reality sort of thing. Do you know what I mean? And I don't necessarily look at it like that, because I'm just a normal kid that talks about football with people that I've met and become friends with, and I'm luckily enough allowed to do this sort of thing by people putting me on channels. But I don't ever like, I like to look at the bigger picture with everything, you know. And I know when I was going through my struggles, and I'm not going to touch on that because that's way going off base, but I watched like the United Stand and different channels, and it gave me a perspective to like look up to. I had something to enjoy, you know, and it really helped me. So I don't think we can sort of take that out of the equation either. And it's a case of a lot of people are clinging on to football and thinking this is probably all I've got. If they, I mean, for me, I don't know about you boys, but all I watch is football and boxing. Like you'll never, I mean, you've all got me on social media. You all know me in the group chat. About anything else, it's because I don't do anything else. It's what I do. I box myself when I can, go to the gym. I'm watching boxing, I'm watching football, and they've cancelled boxing. So if they cancelled football, I'd be playing my Fulham safe probably. You know what I mean? So it's like the bigger picture to it, Keane, is like it's not just them being irresponsible. I know I've gone way off topic here, but I'll let the lads sort of pick up on where I haven't sort of filled in. But I think there's a general issue, and I feel like a lot of people are relying on these people. But on the other side of the coin, I think there'll be footballers out there as well. I know there'll be footballers out there that are saying, all right then, so the whole country gets locked down, but yet we're the entertainment. What about our safety? And Troy Deeney done it when it first broke out. He refused to play because he has a young baby at home. And you know what? There's nothing wrong with that either. I think you've got to do what you've got to do in a circumstance. You, William, Sean, will be doing different things probably to me to deal with this lockdown. You know, I know we're all football fans and we'll all be watching football, but I mean, like your day to day with your working life and your home life will be probably different in the house to doing different things to me. And I think everybody's got a job, mate. I don't necessarily think it's football, like, but if we don't like wind our neck ins with it, and everybody start taking a bit of responsibility for this issue that we've got in the world, like we're never going to get out of it, and we're going to be sitting here and debating these things on shows, which is great viewing for somebody else. But the reality of it is, when you come off the laptop and that, you're back to the doom and gloom of this lockdown again, ain't you? And I feel like everyone has to take a part of it, but footballers do have to take a bit of responsibility, mate. Don't get me wrong, and I know I've went way off the question. So as I say, I do apologise for that, and hopefully some of the lads will fill in for me. But hopefully that's put a bigger perspective on the question.
Yeah, it is. Look, you're absolutely bang on with your points there in that regard. Dylan, I'm going to come to you with this, like with the same question. Like, do you think footballers do have that bit more responsibility? Because as like Jamie said, it's probably most people's escapism, and they're looked at as role models, and to see like normal people in normal day life are abiding by these restrictions, and they all like do what they need to do. And then footballers who are on the massive amounts of money and they're going out and they're throwing parties, they're not abiding by social distancing. And again, there's a huge spike in cases in the league now. Do you maybe think whoever the players who are starting to do this now, that not only the clubs but the league, because these players are meant to be in a bubble as such, do you maybe think that the leagues need to take action more than the club?
I think I agree with a lot of the stuff Jamie just said there, but I think it's a generalization. I think money's irrespective. I don't think money comes into it at all. I think Premier League players are basically there in a glass house, and you can throw stones at them. At the end of the day, they're human beings. Everybody has their own struggles. The 5 of us, we're all locked down, and our careers have been affected. We're all dealing with something that's never been done before. Some players, I know Benjamin Mendy's being touted, and Kyle Walker's being touted, and Jack Grealish during the first lockdown, and I know they've had a couple of friends and female friends coming over to hotel rooms or whatever's been reported. But Benjamin Mendy, he's quite the personality. Kyle Walker has been. I think it should be dealt with by the FA, but then again, the FA are a governing body that condemn racial abuse. Look, if I was going to do it, I think we all are. I think we all don't obey the rules on a daily basis ourselves. I think we try our best, but I think human nature comes into it. There's been moments where we went over to somebody's house where we shouldn't have been. We've all done it. So I think footballers are being ostracized by the media because it sells papers, and it's easy for us to judge them, because they're making 250,000 a week or they're making £200,000 a week. But that's irrespective of how they behave. Benjamin Mendy could just feel like having a sex party. If he wants to do it, let him do it.
Talk to himself, like.
No, but what I'm saying is, every player is different, and everybody's different, and people are going to deal with these situations, a situation that nobody has ever been in, differently. So I think if the FA were to come in with a blanket 3-match ban and £100,000 fine, which is what they fined Cavani for a cultural reference, which they describe as a derogatory slur, which is used in Latin America as a friendly reference. I think if they were to bring in maybe fines and bans, and the players actually had some repercussions for their actions, there might be a bit more obeying to the rules. But I think everybody's going to make mistakes, because this isn't going anywhere, and I think the vaccine rollout is going to be a tough process, because we don't know if these vaccines work yet. But I think the Premier League players need to be obeyed and appreciated, and money doesn't come into it at all, because they've provided us. We were 110 days without football from March till June, and my board will even tell you this. I'm like the rest of you, like you, Jamie, like you said, I'm a football nut. I watch on a Sunday. I'd watch 3 or 4 different leagues. I just love football. So that was our release. You know what I mean? That was our release during lockdown, and that was our escape. And if the Premier League ceased tonight or tomorrow, I'd go mental. And it would
if they're going to cease. If they're going to cease them, I'm just going to say this now. Let United play against Burnley, let them get the 3 points, and then call the league off then.
I think what Dylan was saying there was absolutely spot on. Like, it's brought into the media because it's a high profile guy, and like, I'm not trying to be funny by making a joke by this, but you're not good if you see Benjamin Mendy out in a lockdown doing something he shouldn't be doing. It's going to be news, but it's not. People are not watching like George down the road that's took his dog out a couple of times, like, and he's only supposed to be out the once. Do you know what I mean? It doesn't sell papers, like he said.
Yeah.
And it's always going to be global news.
It's typical mass sport journalism that a lot of us hate. And look, Benjamin Mendy's hilarious. Most of the stories he's done is hilarious. I don't know if you've ever heard the one about him taking a picture at Manchester Airport and he tagged it as Hong Kong International Airport, and he was only after returning back from international duty. And Guardiola looked at his Instagram and rang him because he thought he was in Hong Kong, but he was actually on his way to training at City Training Ground. You know what I mean?
I'd say Guardiola was going absolutely nuts.
Here, if you actually Google it, Google Benjamin Mendy Hong Kong, and the taxi driver he had was actually an Asian guy, so it was even more believable.
He's a proper character, Benjamin Mendy, to be fair, isn't he?
Yeah, but look, everybody's gonna make mistakes, and we're all learning. And this situation, we'll all come out of it better and stronger, you know. And we'll all be a little bit more appreciative. I can't wait till the next time I go to Old Trafford and hug a sweaty stranger. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I can't wait for that.
I think
I can't wait for Bruno Fernandes scores a penalty at the Stretford end, and I hug some random stranger who probably hates my guts. Like, but you know what I mean? It'd be a great few seconds in the lifetime. Since like we're still on the topic of football, and Jamie and Dylan, first of all, like both of you were just bang on, like in terms of your points with regards to the COVID situation within football. But we're going to come now to a more positive thing. Something that drives all five of us mad when it happens twice a year is the transfer window. Especially for United fans, it's always great because there's about 101 different things to clickbait every single day when the transfer window is open. And especially for Chelsea last summer, the transfer window was a very exciting time. When I remember every day Sean was texting into the group chat saying, lads, we're getting this player, lads, we're getting this player, lads, we're getting this player. Lads, we're getting Declan Rice. Do you know what I mean? It was last summer was just mental for all clubs considered, even Arsenal. Like, do you know what I mean? There was mental even there. They had transfer saga as their own. So I'm going to come to each one of you with regards to the transfer window in itself. William, I'm going to come to you first because obviously Arsenal are at a point now where they're looking up the table and they're looking to maybe challenge top four, and you're 6 points off. But you also have to be, you're also in Europa League as well, so you have a lot of football to play in this new year. For you, if there's one position for Arsenal, do you think is most important to strengthen? What position is it, and who does Arsenal go for?
It would be around that attacking midfield type area / can play on the right hand side. I'm going to be honest, I'm not optimistic about this transfer window. Let's not get into my very close to namesake. Literally one letter below my namesake. God, I wish we could sell him already. That's not like he's been terrible. He hasn't settled, and it's just God, that would be.
Chelsea.
Look, we need to get rid of a few players. That's the main thing. I don't think we're going to buy many. That's my honest truth. I think we'll buy one player who I think will help us, and we'll bring in Emi Buendia from Norwich, who I think will be a good signing. It seems like it feels like from the vibes being put out that he wants to go. It's just the deal's been agreed because Norwich rate him very highly, as they should. He's a key player for them. Up coming to us.
Yes,
and then
I don't know if he's good enough for Arsenal though.
He's a West Ham signing.
Yeah, it's probably not a bad shout. I think you should go after Julian Brandt. I've read a little bit that you're after Julian Brandt. I know he's not done very well at Dortmund, but he's a good player. There's ability there, definitely.
Yeah, Arsenal love an overpriced German player.
Yeah, apparently though what I read is that deal is dead in the water already. So honestly,
we have a comment in from Shane Dowdy. With regards to Arsenal and the transfer window. Shane Dowdy says Arsenal and West Ham are the same level though. Shane and his indirect digs. He's here again. He's in the house.
That's an insult to David Moyes.
The thing is, William, like from an Arsenal fan perspective, it must be frustrating for you, like to see someone like Smith Rowe in there. I know he's a really good young player and he's going to be a top player, but he shouldn't necessarily be there at the moment. Just think of it and this is from me looking from an outside point of view. I know I've given you a bit of banter like everybody else has in the group chat. But imagine if you had a player like Mesut Ozil, eh? Imagine.
I'll be completely honest. I am absolutely buzzing that Smith Rowe is in there. I've been calling for it all season. I'm delighted he's playing. I'm delighted Saka is getting games, and I'd be delighted if Martinelli would start instead of Aubameyang right now. Because I'm honestly looking towards the future and building up these players to get a good time. Do you think that the class of 92 got actually a good chance of playing by spending years out on loans constantly and not getting any football? You have to look inside your own academy at times, and honestly, I believe we have one of the better academies in England. The amount of talent that comes out of Hale End has been extraordinary over time. You look at the players like Gnabry now in Dortmund, and look, I'm happy that he's playing. I'll just stop there because I just
Dortmund. Do you think Dortmund? Yeah.
I think we have one of the best academies.
Yeah, you said Dortmund.
What did Tony Taylor say to Serge Gnabry?
Look, I'm going to stop there anyway.
Always been renowned for bringing players through, though, aren't they, Arsenal? I mean, Chelsea, all of Chelsea's best youth players are all tests.
Yeah, like, I mean, honestly, like, we have others, like that Balogun lad that we had that has caught in a few minutes in terms of Europa League football this year. You can tell just by his football knowledge that he's going to be a real talent. What's unfortunate is I believe we're going to actually let him go. I believe that's going to be a real shame because apparently Liverpool are interested.
Yeah.
I did as well, and if he goes there and properly learns under Klopp, watch out because there will be a serious player there. He's highly rated.
Lads. Brentford
was it Ivan Toney? Shane, let me know if it was Ivan Toney.
I don't know. Shane, let us know in the comments, Shane, who scored. But I was wondering why the group chat was very quiet there. I haven't got any buzzing notifications when Brentford was there. But anyway,
Ivan Toney scored.
I did score. No way.
Oh, stop. Sean Maroney now. That Tottenham agenda he had early on in the pod is getting justified now by the equalizer.
And look,
they're saying,
in terms...
Shane has just said there, the guy up front, I don't know his name, might be offside.
Yeah, it's VAR. Yeah.
Probably be offside. Honestly, to be honest, I don't. Yeah, in terms of transfers, I don't see much happening this January. I've said before in past podcasts that we've done, it's going to be in the summer. We've a lot of people going out of contract and a lot of people that are going to be sold that it's a big rebuilding job in the summer. That kind of has started off already during last summer. So, look, we'll see.
This disappointing, this kneecap is offside.
Is Saliba gone on loan, has he?
Saliba's already gone. He's in
gone to
the
Nice.
squad for Nice for their next game.
Remember when he was going to fix all Arsenal's problems at the back?
Hey, I believe that we have a nice left-footed centre-back called Gabriel that won't go miss in your squad.
That's very true. I'll give you that.
Gabriel.
Yeah, we'll give you that. We've a certain Ivorian now who's after playing his first 4 games in a row for the first time since 2017 in the squad.
And to be fair, who has the better defensive record? At least I can say that we have a better defensive record than Man United currently.
What's happened to Reece Nelson?
He got a knock. He's actually been injured recently, so that's why he hasn't been around the squad. And that's stopped his development quite a bit, unfortunately. It's a shame because he has talent.
Yeah, he's a good player, isn't he?
Injuries will stop him. Yeah.
Yeah, Brentford's goal is ruled out. It's such a shame. But anyway, I was going to come to Dylan in terms of Manchester United's transfer business. I'm going to come to you as well, Jamie, with regards to it. What position do you think Man United should, if we're to maybe sustain a title challenge? What position do you think Man United should strengthen in, and kind of who should we go for?
Yeah, well, it's refreshing to actually go into a transfer window where I don't feel like Woodward's Googling transfer market and January transfer targets. I think Max Aarons from Norwich has been touted as a backup option to Armand Bissaka, who I think be an excellent buy, but I don't see it happening because the Canaries are top of the league and chasing promotion. So I think that's a likely deal in the summer. 20 million or 30 million plus Ethan Laird on loan for Max Aarons, and I think Moise Caicedo, although Independiente are looking for more money now that United are actually in formal talks with them. I don't think anybody's going to arrive this month, unless, as Jamie said in the last pod or the previous pod, that unless a player comes available that makes sense. But I think we're in a strong position across the pitch. And once Cavani comes back from his ban, I think we're pretty well stacked. I think Phil Jones is the only senior player out injured as ever. So we've been lucky with injuries. So I think we have a pretty good squad. But I think another right back to provide competition to Aaron Wan-Bissaka would pretty much set us up.
Yeah, I agree with that in terms of the position United should look at in this transfer window. Most definitely for me is right back to provide competition for Wan-Bissaka. I think he lacks a lot going forward. He's great defensively, but going forward he's not great. And I think I'm in absolute agreement with you. I think that's a position United should be looking at. If not January, most definitely in the summer. And Sean, I'm going to come to you in terms of Chelsea. I know you've bought like a lot of players last summer, and this summer it's probably highly unlikely that Chelsea this January. It's probably highly unlikely that Chelsea will probably dive in and make a big money signing. But for you, if you're in Frank Lampard's shoes now and you're on the phone to Roman Abramovich, for you, what position would you strengthen for Chelsea, and who would it be?
So right now, as of now, it'd probably be at DM. There's 3 positions I think Chelsea do need to fill between now and next summer. Like, not even fill, but strengthening. Is centre back, because Silva, he's immense, but he's not going to be there forever. He's 36. DM, hopefully, could be Declan Rice. And then I think we need another winger in there, because we've seen kind of short there when Pulisic, Ziyech, and Hudson-Odoi, like, they're not the most like, they're very injury prone, the 3 of them. Like, so at times they've all been out, and we've really lacked. We had to stick Werner on the wing, and as you can see, like, he's just nullified out on the wing. So hopefully another winger coming in. In January, it's going to be mostly about Chelsea trimming the squad in January. I think getting rid of some of that depth there, because that's, even if Frank stays around, that's going to cause a lot of bother. Even if a new manager comes in, trying to keep everyone happy in the squad, the likes of Alonso and stuff, who eventually, like, they won't be that happy. But I think he might be going off to Atletico Madrid on loan in January. At a push, if we can manage to offload a lot of players at a push, you might see a bid for Declan Rice. But saying that, West Ham are flying at the moment. Is he going to leave halfway through the year? Are they going to let him go for anything less than 70 million? I don't know. Like, I don't know if Chelsea are going to bid that, but I reckon Rice will end up at Chelsea either in January or the summer. But as Dylan touched on earlier, I think regardless of if Lampard is still there, I think in the summer, like Fabrizio and that said, there's going to be another big summer for Chelsea. Like, as Jamie touched on there, he said, like, it's still part of a building process. They spend a lot of money, but they're not the finished article yet, and there's talks of another big summer coming. But as Dylan touched on earlier, Marina kind of rolls all these transfers and has a lot to say in these in the deals and stuff. So regardless of if Lampard is there or not, I reckon it'll be a big summer. But at a push, one signed in January, I think.
I think maybe the summer is probably going to be a bigger transfer window. Just to elaborate there, it's now 2-0 to Tottenham. Look, in terms of the summer, I think maybe that's probably going to be a bigger transfer window for Chelsea. I think, there's kind of where they finish as well. Like, if they finish in the top 4, I could see Roman maybe pushing for the title next season. I think you might see significant movement in the transfer window for Chelsea. You're right though as well. Like, you still have a lot to get off the books, like of Marcus Alonso, players like that, who don't have a future at Chelsea, and there's a lot of them who need to be put off the books before. But I'd say marquee signings coming, because obviously you don't want to be hit by financial fair play as well. Jamie, for you, I'm coming to you last, because I know you're some man for the transfer scouting on your Football Manager and your FIFA career modes, and you always like that to get that hidden gem. For you, is there a position for you that needs serious addressing in January, and who do you think should come in?
For Chelsea, did you say?
No, for Manchester United.
Oh, I thought you said for Chelsea. I was like, Keane, come on, man. How long have you been doing Chelsea? It's either Manuel Fulham for me, mate, not Chelsea. But pretty much what Dylan said, mate. I think he was spot on what he's saying. I do like the Max Aarons link. I don't think it's going to happen. I heard a little rumor today from a few lads in the office that apparently Williams is coming up here. I don't know if that's true, but I think that would be a good.
I heard that today as well. Yeah, Newcastle.
Yeah, and obviously with Brucey being there, I think he'll have a bit of pull at United. He'll probably know the right people to contact if he needs a little bit of. And they're in a little bit of trouble fullback-wise, Newcastle. They bought Jamal Lewis, but he's not really playing the football they expect. But as I say, he signed from Norwich, and it's the same with Aarons. If he comes from us, they need time. So I don't feel that deal will happen. We've obviously got Traore coming in, which I'm quite excited about. But he's another one that he's supposed to be a super talent, this boy. But you don't just come in to the Premier League at 18 and start doing bits. So it does take time. So I'm not expecting too much with regards to him. I would like to see us go in the market. I feel like if we could strengthen the centre-back position, it would be beneficial, but I don't think it's a deal that they're prioritising at the moment. I do think they will prioritise it in the summer. It makes me a little bit uneasy, the fact that the board are sort of hoping that Bailly don't get injured, because we know it's coming at some point. But it's whether Axel's good enough to fill in, because Bailly will get injured. I'm not saying he might be out for months and months, but he will get a knock and he might have to sit a game out, and he won't be able to play like game after game because he's too fragile. Like, we've got to be realistic. And obviously with Victor being injured now, I do feel like if there's a time to go and get an Upamecano, it's probably now. What's that, sorry?
Apparently Lindelof is back. Apparently the injury isn't as serious as originally thought.
Right, okay.
So.
Well,
Don't be telling me that.
That's good to hear with regards to...
But if we be fair, right? If we be fair, I think Lindelof has actually been decent this season.
No, he's not. He's useless. He's useless.
Oh, stop now, Dylan. Stop now.
No.
If we're talking about a centre back who's been brutal for United this season, it's been Harry Maguire.
No. They can't play together. Lindelof's very good, but with somebody beside him that him and Maguire can't play together.
I feel like
they're the same type of.
Yeah, he's a good centre half, but he's a squad player. He's not good enough to be starting for United.
I actually agree with that. I think Lindelof's been all right this season, but he does have a switch of
brilliant range of passing, brilliant tactical positioning. Can't run in the channels, can't defend set pieces, weak under a high ball. Every attribute to be a top Premier League defender he doesn't have. He'd be brilliant in Spain, brilliant in France.
Reminds me of Christensen.
Yeah, exactly. He's a very good cultural defender. But look at Bailly and Maguire together. Just they could be Gomez and Van Dijk together.
It scares the shit out of me, Bailey. I'm not even gonna lie. Like, he's so good, but he scares the life out of me. You're not too sure if he's gonna play a silly pass or he's gonna boot someone in the air. But that's like, I absolutely love Bailey. Like, if he could stay fit, we wouldn't need a centre back. But I like the look of this Caicedo boy. Like, I haven't heard too much about. I've seen Fabrizio Romano saying that we are generally interested in the player.
There's a very good source today. I don't know what the source was. I've seen from a Chelsea side it was shared, but supposedly it's very close that he's signing for a Premier League club. There's two in, but they just didn't mention which one it is. It's probably United, I'm guessing, because Lampard is fascinated with Rice. Like, but yeah, I think it's going to be
Chelsea
very
are
close.
in from as well, though, aren't they, Sean?
Yeah, it's two clubs, but they didn't name which one that he's. They said it's nearly done. It just needs to be signed off like for January. I'm just guessing it's United, like, but. Yeah,
it wouldn't surprise me if it was Chelsea. I don't think United will do any deals this window. And like what you were saying, Dylan, it's nice to not have to come into a window and like be begging for a signing. You know, I think that the summer window was a bit of a disaster, but it's actually been a bit of a blessing, and it's kind of worked out. Like we didn't want that type of window, but it's kind of worked out for the better. And I seen a link today from Oliver from All for United, Keane. You know that he puts out sort of daily, don't he, on just transfer suggestions and stuff. I seen that he was saying that there's a potential Delit for Pogba swap. Like as long as there's money involved in that deal, I would be up for that, because I know that some of the lads have mentioned earlier that Ruben Diaz has transformed Manchester City again, playing with Laporte. And they're not very pacey players, but they're very intelligent centre-backs. They're not slow, but they're not like they ain't sort of really fast players. But Guardiola's brought them in and made them a pairing, and they're both fantastic players. And Laporte was an amazing centre-back before he even went to City. He's arguably one of the best centre-backs in the league. And Ruben Diaz, I've watched him for years. He's class, like absolutely class. Reads the game very well. Was captain for Benfica at 20 years old. And I feel like United fans are like obsessed with this left-sided centre-back that's a left footer, but I don't necessarily think that you need to go down that route if you can bring in the right player. And I feel like it hasn't worked at Juventus for him, as everyone thought he was going to go there and be the next superstar in Italian football. And I feel like he could really bring, like, he is a Premier League centre back. He's strong, he's powerful, he's great in the air, he's good in the ball, on the ball. Like, and I feel
the
like
only thing he lacks is pace. That's the only thing Delit lacks is pace.
I know, but that's what you just need, a bit of intelligence. Like, you just need to drop a little bit deeper.
You can start him and Maguire on the goal line.
Yeah, but like he's got that attribute to sort of contribute to Maguire's game, and I feel like when Maguire gets a world-class centre-back next to him, I don't think he's world-class. I really like him, but he isn't world-class for me.
But he's only 25 though, Jim. He does world-class.
Oh, definitely. I totally agree.
He's only played 98 games for United since 2016.
I don't think there's a lot of world-class centre-backs out there, Dylan, if I'm honest. No. I honestly don't believe that. They're
a dying breed.
Yeah, they are, and traditional centre backs are a dying breed as well. It's all about playing out from the back, but I'm like, we've just got to trust the process with United when it comes to transfers now. Because
there's no way Paratici would let Delit leave Juventus. So I can't. Paratici's he's the Daniel Levy of Italian football. If Pogba goes, it probably could involve a swap deal, but I'd imagine it would be Ronaldo. I know. I'd imagine it'd be one of their multiple world-class or very good midfielders, because Juventus just have a conveyor belt of brilliant midfielders.
The only way, I'm not too keen on. I do think there's something in the Delit deal, but I would prefer United. If it was up to me, I'd stay away from him, not because he's not good enough, because Riola's his agent. And I think United need to get Riola's clients out the club.
Exactly. I think they should just.
It's the same reason I don't want Haaland. He's a fantastic player, but I don't want that circus around our club no more. We've had enough of it.
If United can keep Maguire, Lindelof, Tuanzebe, and Eric Bailly fit, or the three of the four fit for the majority of the season, that's up there one of the best defensive units, central defensive units in the Premier League, in my opinion.
Yeah, 100%. Now, lads, we're at the final part of the show, which I said at the start, that we do have our weekly, since we're in 2021, we do have our weekly Armchair Kickoff awards. So, first of all, we're going to go, well, it's not really an award, but we're going to go for your player to watch in 2021. So this can be anyone. This can be an old player, could be a young player, and that be everyone. So Sean, I'm going to come to you first. Who's your player to watch in the year 2021?
So everyone knows the potential this player has. Like, he's potentially been one of the best players in the league, and might be a bit of an obvious pick, but I just think he's been kept on a bit of a leash so far this season. But in 2021, I think he's going to tear the league asunder as Phil Foden with City. I think he's going to burst out, and he's going to show what he really can do in 2021. Like he obviously, he's a top player, and everyone knows how good he is and how good he can be. But I just think 2021 is the year that he's going to have like a year like Grealish is taking it to a new level now so far this season. Like, I think Foden can do that in 2021 with City, especially because I think they're in a good set to go towards elite title charge. Like, I think with Silva and that gone now, he'll be in there. I think he'll have a good 2021. I had other names there, but he was the one that stood out to me. I think Easy for Crystal Palace will do well as well, and I really like. I know like defenders are not going to get as much recognition, but I really like Ben White with Brighton. I think he might get a big move in the summer. Maybe top 5, top 6 team in England. Like, but yeah, I think Ben White will have a good 2021 as well.
Yeah, brilliant player.
Yeah, that's not a bad shout. Jamie, who's your one to watch for 2021?
I had 3 players when you asked this question earlier. One was Easy. I think he's a phenomenal talent. He can be as good as he wants to be him. I don't think Crystal Palace need to worry too much if Zaha goes, because when he steps up to the plate and he matures, he's going to be a fantastic player.
It reminds me of Zaha.
Yeah, he's nowhere near as good as Zaha at the moment, but I feel like
he's just raw.
Yeah, he'll be when he's matured, like without a shadow of a doubt, he can go to the very top of the English football game, I think. The other one is purely because I like him, and he doesn't. I don't think he'll get the recognition he deserves in the team that he plays for. But I really, really rate Trossard as well at Brighton. I think he's a fantastic young player, and Lamptey as well. Sean will know Lamptey. He's another fantastic right back as well, wing back. But my first choice for I've completely lost him now. It's because I've been talking about other players. Oh, no, I haven't. It's Wesley Fofana at Leicester.
Yeah,
beast.
Absolutely fantastic player, man. When we were playing Leicester and when they were playing Newcastle at the weekend, I was watching him very closely on the TV, and I thought, you're going to the top, you. Like, absolutely fantastic player. But yeah, they would be my 3-4.
And Dylan, who is your player to watch in 2020?
This is a bit of an unusual one. I think he might be a bit dumbfounded. Stuart Armstrong from Southampton.
Quality player.
Yeah.
I think he's absolutely criminally underrated. He was the best player in the park alongside Kyle Walker-Peters last night in the 1-0 victory for Southampton. I just think he's brilliant in that system for Hasselhüttl. I think he plays sort of a mixture of roles. I think he can play as a holding midfielder. He can play as a 10. He can play up top. He's a decent enough goal scoring record. He's got 10 goals in 71 games in the Premier League, and he was bought from Celtic in 2018 for 8 million, which is a snip. I think he's a magnificent player.
Yeah, he's a good player. Yeah, he played really well last night against Liverpool as well. Again, shout out to Southampton last night for pulling off a fantastic victory last night in the Premier League.
Yes.
William, who was your one to watch?
Mesut Ozil.
One to never watch in an Arsenal shirt again, more like. Honestly, I have a few different ones. So, in terms of my own team, the one to watch, even though he's been quality enough recently, if he stays fit all season, it'll be Kieran Tierney. I think he will be the best left back in the league. Personally, I rather him than Robertson, even watching Robertson last night. Personal opinion, I think that he can reach that level. Before injuries, he was fine. He was getting there, and then he got injured for a few seasons. Robertson overtook him. That's
Luke Shaw's the best left back Luke Shaw's the best left back in the league at the minute.
I've just noticed
Can Luke Shaw completely do a defender going in, cut inside, and then finish it with his weak foot like Tierney did against West Brom there, though? Did you see Tierney's goal against West Brom?
Night and then play well on the Sunday morning.
Anyway, other than that, there wasn't. The one that I wanted to give credit to in terms of being underrated is Aston Villa's John McGinn. I don't think he gets enough credit because of how much credit Grealish gets, and even a bit of credit towards Watkins. He makes them tick so much, and he's just so great attackingly that I really rate him. And the other player, in terms of my one to watch, that'll really shock people, that I think will have a good season this year, and people may look at me like, what the fuck are you thinking? You've got no opinion of football. Now that he has someone decent beside him, and if he can get a good run of games in, John Stones.
Yeah, 100%.
Now that he has a decent centre back next to him, and they just seem to be a lot more better defensively. he's in with a shout of even getting a proper England Euro spot that looked like it was gone last year and looked like he had no chance. He's got a good chance of being a really top player.
Is he not Scottish?
Nah, he's English.
No, he's English.
Is he? I thought he was Scottish.
The thing is, if Southgate goes with the three at the back,
He's the best thing. He's the best ball playing centre half. English, English
if
player.
England are going to take that route of playing three at the back, then
I thought you were saying.
he needs to play.
I still thought John would begin. Sorry.
Oh yeah, he's Scottish. Hey, I just Scottish people in English.
As well, yeah. See Shane's comment there about Fofana as well that he put up. He's on the Fulham shortlist, Shane. Don't worry about
it. So I haven't given my one to watch yet. I've been thinking about this all day, and I was going to go down a United U player route, or I was going to say Amad Diallo because I know Shane's probably going to say that in the comments there in about 5 seconds. No, but for me, I'm going to actually go with Harvey Barnes from Leicester.
Good player.
I think in the last kind of 12 months, he's someone who's really come on and has become a really crucial player for Leicester City. And he's very direct, and I just really like the way he plays. He scored against United last week, but we won't talk about that because, Ollie's at the wheel. But like you look at Harvey Barnes, I think he's going to be like the perfect replacement for Jamie Vardy when Vardy eventually moves on. Like he's someone who's going to take that mantle at Leicester City to be the main man up front. I think he's that good, and I think he's someone who's definitely to watch out for this year. Another player as well, like Lamptey from Brighton, he's someone who's been quite good this year. I think the sky's the limit for him. I think he is a fantastic player. Yeah, like, do you know what I mean? If Bayern Munich are looking at him, like that's saying something in terms of the quality. The comment in here for Shane before we get
from Reading as well, isn't they? Omar Richards from Reading, apparently they're watching him as well.
Yeah.
Shane has just said there in the comments, Diallo goes straight to United's first team in 21. We wrapped up in no time. Fuck's sake. Oh, stop it. But yeah,
more
like
chance for Phil Jones coming back.
That man's fit is injured every single transfer window. It's unbelievable. It's actually unbelievable. But anyway, enough about United and enough about Phil Jones. We're going to get to the weekly Armchair Kickoff 2020 Player of the Season. So this can be anyone across the Premier League. You can base this on any accolades, goals, assists. We do it on team honours as well. There's many different candidates. I didn't give the lads a list on who they can pick. It's literally they can pick anybody. So, for example, if Dylan wants to pick Phil Jones, he can pick Phil Jones to disaster trap at Sheffield United. If he wants to do that, he can do that if he wants. But there's no.
He hasn't actually played a game this year.
So you can't even pick him anyway. He's definitely out of the running. Phil Jones is definitely out of the running. But anyone who's played a game in the Premier League this year, whether it's 1 or 20, you can pick whoever you want in terms of this. So I'm actually going to come to Sean first. Sean, there's been many great players in the Premier League for you. In the year 2020, who was the Premier League and weekly Armchair Kickoff Player of the Year for you?
Hate saying it, but it's Bruno. If you're going from January to December, it's definitely Bruno. Came in the January transfer window and transformed United and hasn't looked back since. Like, he's just a lot of the games he's pulling you through a lot of the games and stuff. Like the only kind of like players I would have, the only player, not even players I would have kind of considered up against him was Grealish. With how he's been playing this year, and he's solid enough like at the start of the year, like coming into the end of last season and that. But yeah, like a lot of like Liverpool, I know they won the league, did a lot of players in the team of the year, but when you think of it, like they kind of had the title wrapped up just after we came out of lockdown, and they were like off the boil then. They weren't really, you can see they weren't really kind of trying, they were just enjoying themselves once the league was won, and they haven't been at their usual levels this season so far. So yeah, Bruno's just a standout option. Like, can't really argue with it. Yeah,
so all the comments coming in at the moment is saying Bruno Fernandes. And William, I'm going to come to you. Who is your weekly Armchair Kickoff Player of the Season 2020?
Mesut Ozil. No. I had to get that one. No, honestly, you can't deny. It kind of has to be Bruno. Like, when you look at everything he's done for United, where he's taken you from, it was 14 points behind Leicester, to drag you up there, to overtake them on the final day by beating them. Jack Grealish is probably the only one that runs him close. Like Sean said, he was the one that I was like, okay, because he single-handedly basically dragged Aston Villa out of the relegation zone, if you exclude actually VAR and Hawkeye not working, being the reason that they stayed up out of the relegation zone.
Yeah,
but
which it is, by the way.
That's unfortunate for poor Bournemouth. But he's the only one, and maybe Virgil van Dijk. But even then, he made a few more mistakes than, say, Bruno has. They're the only real three standout players I can think of.
Dylan, for you?
Tough enough one. You have to go with Van Dijk. You have to go with Van Dijk. Van Dijk's the best defender in the world. He was flawless, like his hair, until he done his cruciate. Between him and Bruno and Mane, the three of them have been the best players in the Premier League for the last year, in my opinion.
So you're going to go with Virgil van Dijk. That's yours, yeah. Perfect. Okay. Jamie, who is your weekly armchair kickoff player this season of 2020?
It's a difficult one. I'd say Sigurdsson from Everton from 6 million took me to the Europa League. No, I'm joking. I would go with Mane. I think he's absolutely quality, but I kind of don't want to put my Bruno hat on. Like, obviously, I would say Bruno, but I'm trying to go for someone different. And I don't like giving Liverpool credit, but I actually really like watching Mane play. I think he's fantastic. So yeah, I'll go against the grain because Bruno would have been the obvious choice, and he's definitely number one. But I'll pick someone different. I'd go for Mane. I think he's arguably the best player in the Premier League on his day.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, look, I would disagree. Like, in terms of Mane, he's, I think, Liverpool's best outfield player for me. I know Van Dijk is unbelievable, but you look at like Mane, he's different level when on form. In that regard. But for me, look, I think it's no secret for him. I'm his biggest advocate on social media. I just loved him, and I wanted him to come 8 months before he actually came to Manchester United. It's Bruno Fernandes for me, but I'm not going to disrespect any other player who's been good in the Premier League this season. I think Jack Grealish, again, as we all said, apart from VAR, he's single-handedly kept Villa. Fantastic player. Sadio Mane last season was unbelievable as well. Done a fantastic job. People tend to forget that the year 2020, like, I know since the result of this season, he has been as good, but Kevin De Bruyne actually deserves a mention. Because Kevin De Bruyne, regardless of City not winning the league last season because of their defensive record, he was someone who was actually quite good last year. And one of the only midfielders who actually matched Fernandez's production in terms of goals and assists. So he's definitely someone who deserves a mention in that regard. But for me, I would go Bruno, but I think Jack Grealish is most definitely running the close second.
Keane, I just got a text off Shane Dowley there. He said Jordan Henderson, he thinks.
Oh, he's going to be in the comments there now in about 3 seconds.
Oh. He just literally texted me there and said it like.
Oh, stop at the lights! Right, I know we've been on an hour 32 minutes. It's been a great show, so I'm really going to get everyone's weekly armchair kickoff team of the season before we wrap up. So, William, I'm going to come to you first because I know your team is definitely going to divide opinion. So I've heard your team before this.
I've made one little
hit us with your weekly armchair kickoff team.
I've made one tiny little change. So in goal, I think Martinez is the goalkeeper that we sold. I think his season has been absolutely unreal.
What a season he's had.
He's got the most amount of clean sheets in the Premier League this season, and last year it started with us as well. And since he's come in, he's been magnificent. Going to be Argentina #1.
Miles better than Bernd Leno as well.
Aye, Bernd Leno also has 5 clean sheets this season. Just saying. Same stats, but he's probably better in distribution, so I would have preferred to keep Martinez, but I'm happy with either. I can say that United can say they've been happy with either goalkeeper, and Chelsea have Kepa and Mendy. But in goal, so I had Martinez. Then right back, I've actually gone for a Chelsea player because there's something about Trent I don't rate, and I think once he's come in, he's done absolutely class, bar 1 or 2 games. I think Reece James has had a really good 2020. He's broken through into the team. He's gotten his position in, and honestly, I've just wanted to put him there. In centre backs, I've gone for Virgil van Dijk. You have to go for Van Dijk. He's been the best centre back. He was the best centre back in the world at the time, and then he got injured. Next to him, I've chosen a Wolves player, actually. I've gone for Connor Cody. Yeah, the way he just he's broken through into an influential player in terms of that Wolves defence. He's broken through into the England team. I think it was between him and Tyrone Mings, and what won it for me was Mings getting sent off for being so stupid against Wilfried Zaha there at the end of last season. Plus, he played 5. He played like 5
sent off on Friday as well.
I don't rate Tyrone Mings. Don't rate him.
Fair.
Just my opinion.
No, that's fair. Left back, I've gone Robertson. I think for 2020, he was Liverpool won the league. You have to put a certain amount of Liverpool players in, and I think left back for the whole of 2020, he was the best, even though I think he's on a slight decline in terms of 2021 because he's played 1 game and it wasn't very good. In CDM, I've gone right 4-1-2-3, so I can have a lot of attacking players. So the one defensive midfielder I put in, I've actually gone for Declan Rice. I think he really improved his standings in terms of where he's played. I thought they had quite a good 2020, and in terms of it was Declan Rice, and then in 2020 he's improved himself. So then the 2 midfielders in front of him, I've gone for Bruno Fernandes and I've gone for Jack Grealish in terms of playing there. So them 2, they don't need any discussion how good they've been this season. That's good. Then the one change I made from the one that with you, Keane, is left wing. I've actually now put Sadio Mane. But it's not exactly the full change.
It's just for the benefit of our viewers.
No. Wait. I've still got the one that you're flanking in. The upper Liverpool one out. I'm actually going to do that. Up top, then, I've got Harry Kane, because despite how much we may hate Tottenham, his season so far, he's been absolutely unreal.
Yeah.
And then right wing, just because I'm a loving Arsenal fan, I had to put one player of my own, and Bukayo Saka's 2020 has been unbelievable. And I just wanted to put him in.
Can I question? I'm not questioning his form and his quality. I'm going to question his position. Didn't he play most of 2020 as left wing back? No, he's not playing right wing. No, I'm not saying this in a way to drag him through the mud. Arsenal played a 5-3-2 most of last season and 2020 and this season, and he plays left wing back, but now he's right wing. That's the only thing I'm questioning.
He's that good. He can play anywhere.
So this season, right now, he's playing as our right winger in our last 3 games in which we started to win again. So that's where he's playing now. He's played cam for a few games. He's played left wing. He's played left wing back, and he's performed in every single position. I want to give, obviously, an honourable mention to Heung-min Son, who I think has had an unreal season. And personally, I didn't put Kevin De Bruyne in there, as at the beginning of this season, I don't think he's played that well. He's only had 1 or 2 games.
Yeah,
that's fair. I don't think he's performing this season. That's why, for me, he wasn't in it for the last season. Amazing. And that's why you take half of 2020, great. Second half of 2020, not the best.
When you said right wing and Arsenal there, Will, I thought for sure you were saying...
thought I was going Pepe. Yeah.
Dylan, for you, what's your weekly Armchair Kickoff 2020, their team this season for you?
I've gone for 4-2-3-1, so I've got Emi Martinez in goals, like William. I just think he's been exceptional. I think he's brilliant with Arsenal. I think Arsenal should have kept him. Continue with Villa, 8 clean sheets. Distribution of the ball is brilliant. I think Villa have just been bright of fresh air under Dean Smith. Even just the way that they play, I think they were exceptional against United last Friday night. And Martinez, I think he's a fantastic keeper. Right back, probably a surprise. a surprise inclusion, but I think Jamie's going to like this one. Ricardo Pereira from Leicester City.
Oh.
Yeah.
He was fantastic before he got injured.
Absolutely excellent. He was fantastic. And I know he's a hefty 25 million fee from Porto, but he was absolutely excellent. I think he was building. I think he was probably going to be, like, if he didn't get injured, I'd say probably would have been one of the top right backs in the league.
When they signed him, Dylan, sorry to cut you off, mate. When they signed him, I thought, when we got Dalot, I was thinking to myself, we've got the wrong one here.
Yeah.
But Pereira's just went on to another level since he's been in the Premier League.
And I think
Portuguese players fit very well into the Premier League. The way they play football, it suits the Premier League.
I think Brendan Rodgers as well has been excellent for his development. Centre half, I've gone for Big Verge. I think he's the best defender in the world. I think he's the best defender in the world on one leg. He's that good. I actually listened to Callum McFadden's podcast with Neil McGuinness, and if any of you haven't listened to that on CFB Weekly, you should listen to Neil McGuinness. Worked with Celtic as a scout, and he brought him in from Groningen over in Holland. He'll just tell you, he speaks in the podcast about going to see Groningen against I think they were playing Fatties, and he was marking Wilfred Boney, and he was just that good. He'd give Boney a 4 or 5 yard head start, and he just deal with it. Yeah, the other centre half I've gone is going to be a surprise inclusion. I don't think it's going to make Keane very happy. I've gone for Maguire. I think Harry Maguire is criminally underrated, and I think he's chastised because of that big price tag that he had nothing to do with. I think he has improved Man United's defence significantly. Statistically, last season we had the second best defensive record in Europe in all competitions with 21 clean sheets, and he's also played the most minutes for any player, even goalkeepers included, in Europe in 2020, which is something that Man United centre halves haven't had since Pallister and Bruce in the early 90s, of that durability. Left back, I went with Robbo. Robbo's the best left back in the world, and he's probably the best. I'd say I'd be as bold as saying that he's the best transfer buy in the Premier League in the last 10 to 15 years. 8 million from Hull, snip. Central midfield, Declan Rice and James Ward-Prowse holding. I think the two of them are fantastic. I think James Ward-Prowse under Hasselhoetel has developed into probably one of the best central midfielders in the Premier League. He's the best dead ball specialist in the world, in my opinion. And I think he should be starting for England. Declan Rice is going to earn a big move to Chelsea. I'd imagine it looks like that way. And he's the standout player, and David Moyes for the Hammers. I think they've been brilliant this season under Moyes. And I think them two in central midfield. Front, I went for a 4-2-3-1. So I have as my cam, I've got Bruno, Keane's hero. Yeah, Bruno Fernandes, the best player in the world at the minute, in my opinion, on form. He affects games when he's not even playing in them. Always comes up with a goal, always comes up with an assist. It just influences games without having to be in form. He's everything that Man United wanted Paul Pogba to be, and he's just he's an inspirational leader. Right wing, I went with Grealish, another talismanic player, who I'd love to see at Man United. He's probably the player
fingers crossed.
Yeah. I take Jack Grealish over Jadon Sancho any day of the week.
Oh yeah.
Left side, I went for Kevin De Bruyne, who's just magnificent. I think he's had a great year. And up top, I went for Harry Kane. 153 goals in 223 games, 27. He's going to smash Alan Shearer's record before he's 30.
Yeah, I think he'll smash that record to pieces. He's that good. Like, he's such a great striker. But I'm gonna keep Sean to last. Sean dropped out. I don't know what happened. I think his internet must have went or something. But Sean is there. Don't worry, Sean. I'm keeping you to last because I kind of know some of your team. And there's a few surprises in there, so I want to keep him to last. But Jamie, the man himself who always likes a good scout on FIFA, Jamie McKay's Fulham. Do check out that career mode. But
Everyone's
Jamie,
there in the comments like, what the hell are they on about?
but Jamie, for you, your weekly armchair kickoff 2020 team this season.
I'm going to try and do something a little bit different, Keane. I'm not going to go for the dead sets just because I think they pick themselves, certain players. So I'm gonna go and give a team and we'll see what the lads think. My goalkeeper would be Southampton's goalkeeper, McCarthy.
Alex McCarthy, yeah, excellent,
brilliant goalkeeper. I'm gonna play. I'll play a 4-2-3-1. Right back, I would probably go with the same as you, Dylan Pereira. I think he was absolutely fantastic at Leicester until he got injured. If it wasn't him, purely for the fact of I think he's a big talent. But we'll stick with Pereira. Centre backs, and bear in mind I'm going different here, so it's not going to be your traditional Van Dijks and that. I think Johnny Evans is seriously underrated at Leicester. Like, I think he was underrated at United, and I feel like he sets a great foundation for Leicester to build on with their attacking players with his organisational game. Fantastic centre back, and I love him, so that's why I'm picking him. I'm not saying he's the best defender, I just like him.
Vestergaard.
Partner next to, I'd give you that. Vestergaard's a class centre back. He lacks pace, but he's got everything else. Massive problem when he's in the opposition corners situation as well. Left back. I'm trying to think outside the box here. Do you know what it is? I'm going to do something I wouldn't usually do. I'll agree with you once for William. I never seem to do that, but I'll give you the benefit of the doubt. I would go Tierney because I do love Tierney because I've got a bit of a soft spot for Celtic, so I've watched him quite a lot. I do rate Kieran Tierney, but I do think Luke Shaw's really underrated as well.
Matt Taggart.
Yeah, Matt Target. Yeah, I think we'll stick with Tierney. I don't want to be one of them that flip flops. I'm gonna back William in this one. Midfield, defensive midfielder for me, the best defensive midfielder in the league, Ndidi. Consistently very good for Leicester, season in, season out. I would take him at Man United all day. I'll pick him up from Leicester if you want. Next to him in the midfield, and I know he's not a defensive midfield player, but of last season, I think Mason Mount is class. Jack
Clemson is gonna love that show.
Yeah, but he's a class player though, isn't he? For all the money that Chelsea have spent, and he still arguably looks their best player sometimes. I'm sure. Do you agree with that, Sean?
I'm not a fan.
No, I get definitely.
You don't rate him.
I rate him, but I don't know where to play him. I think that's I think that's the problem with all of Chelsea's players put in front of Frank. I think he's got 20 pieces of a jigsaw, but only 10 places fit.
Yeah.
10 pieces fit. Mount's a talent, but where to play him? I suppose that's a good thing because he can play multiple positions.
Yeah, there's a couple in there like that I could have picked, but I just like Mason Mount. I think he's a class player. But Sander Berge was really good last season at Sheffield United. So was John Fleck. They would have been in a shout out to John Fleck because he was a bargain on my Fulham save. Cam position. I'm gonna go with a traditional. I'm going to go with Bruno because you just can't leave him out. I know it's a little bit sort of cliche, but he's been that good for me. On the wing, left wing, and as I say, I ain't picking favourites. So I ain't picking the ones that should be there, like Human Song and that should be there. But I'm going to go with Diego Jota because I think he's class. And I think he was absolutely fantastic for Wolves as well. And he obviously got his big money move. And I did tweet before he went to Liverpool that we should be in for him. And he went to Liverpool, unfortunately. Right wing. Right wing's a difficult one, I feel, in the Premier League. I'm gonna go with you again, William. I'm gonna go with Saka, but it should have been Grealish, but I'm just gonna try and go for something different.
Would you
I'd
put
go with
Greenwood?
Saka.
Look at your own club.
I'll stay away from Man U players as much as I can. I don't want to put them in because I could easily pick them like you when you said I'm going to pick one player.
No, I know, but
there's a comment has just come in there. It says, "What do you think of Joe? Which Joe? Joe Gomez or Joe
Linton?
Joe Biden, but
Joe Biden. Is it Joe Gomez? Let us know in the comments.
Is this a trick question or?
Is it Grandpa Joe from Charlie the Chocolate Factory?
Chilo, I've got you. Joe Linton, he's absolutely terrible. There you go. Hopefully that'll
That's Joe Linton's criticised so heavily. And
Joe Mama, he's on the wind up.
Joe Linton here. I think he does a job for it.
Joe Mama.
Joe Mama. Joe Mama.
I think his picture's something off of Mortal Kombat, isn't it?
It is, that's totally. Oh, that's brilliant. That's brilliant.
Thanks for interrupting me, Joe, whoever you are. My striker would be.
What do you think of Joe Mama? Oh, stop. Jamie, who's your striker?
My striker would be Raul Jimenez because I think he's a fantastic striker and Wolves are really missing him in real life. So yeah, I went for a little bit of different, but I think that's a pretty.
You went for like the fan. You went for like the fan favorites.
I went for my short list on Fulham.
Right, before I go to Sean, I'm going to give my weekly armchair kickoff team of the season. Again, I've just went with what I think was the best 11 players in the Premier League since January 2020. Oh my God. Yeah. So I'm just going to go with Emi Martinez in goal. I look like Martinez in there. I think, he's been the standout goalkeeper in the year 2020. For me, I think Arsenal made the wrong decision to get rid of him, but they still have a quality keeper there in Leno anyway. Right back, he was my player of the season last season. I don't think he's having the best of seasons now, but what he's done in the majority of 2020 outweighs that. With Trent Alexander-Arnold in there. He's someone who's been a very influential figure in Liverpool's attack, even though he's a right full-back. He's done a fantastic job. At centre-back, I've gone with Vestergaard alongside Virgil van Dijk. I think Vestergaard has been absolutely exceptional in that Southampton team, and Southampton have been one of the informed teams in the year 2020. So for me, Vestergaard gets in there because Southampton have been quite solid at the back. And the left back, there's no need for it. Oh, look, the dog.
What's the dog's 11?
The dog's 11, yeah. 11 full of Bruno Fernandes. Left back for me is Andy Robertson. There's no discussion about that. I've changed my centre defensive midfielder. I originally had Fabinho, but I've changed that up. I'm going to go Declan Rice as well. I'm going to follow suit. I think Declan Rice has massively improved this season, and look, he's going to, as we all said, he's going to earn that big money move to Chelsea. So yeah, we'll go with Declan Rice. And my other two midfielders are Kevin De Bruyne, because again, as I said earlier on, what he's done in most of 2020, he's been good, and he's right up there in terms of production with Bruno Fernandes. And again, look, my other attacking midfielder there is Bruno. Again, there's no conversation. Check my Twitter. That's all I say.
You know yourself.
Yeah, you know yourself. Yeah. Left wing, I've gone with Jack Grealish. Again, enough said there. Right wing was the hardest position in the whole 11 for me. I wanted to go with Sadio Mane. He was someone who I had there. Funnily enough, he had a great 2020, but unfortunately, he had a bit of an injury as well. I actually was thinking about Marcus Rashford, putting Rashford in there. But there's been spells this season where he's had a bit of a barn spell, so I couldn't put him in there. Right wing is someone who I actually don't like as a football player in terms of his antics and attitude, but you can't deny his production, is Mohamed Salah. He's my right winger here, and that gets in there. And again, this man needs no introduction, and this selection is going to appease Steve McGrath. I was going to go with Jamie Vardy because he was unbelievable in the league last season, but you can take the year whole 2020 as a whole. Harry Kane's my striker. I think, look, he's just been great. In regards to Sean's phone cut out, I think his phone went dead. But he said, phone cut out on me first time around. I just had to leave for a minute to get my gatherings. And for me, Mr. Arisa Balaga should be in every 11. And he says, I would give my 11 on here. So yeah, Sean, if you drop your starting 11 in there now, I will read it out on the comments just before we wrap up. And
no wonder he's dropped off the live stream if he thinks Kepa should be starting. I'd drop out as well.
But Sean, if you quickly just drop in your 11 there, that'll be fine, because I know he has a couple of selections in there. But lads, I think we've all kind of picked.
Does he have a different striker?
I can neither confirm or deny that. We'll see in the comments in a moment.
Okay, because I won't be surprised that there is one person. There is one person that isn't Danny Ings, but I feel like he would bring it up given that he said, yeah, because sure, he said that would be his surprise player of the year, like at the beginning.
Yeah, I was going to pick Calvert-Lewin, but another too obvious one.
Okay, 2020. Right, so here we go. Sean Daly has just said, firstly, he said Martinez in goal, Reece James at right full, Trent Alexander-Arnold got scored more points than a Beyblade in 2020. Yeah, I would I'd agree with that in terms of being spun like a Beyblade. I would absolutely agree with that. Waiting out for the next part of the team there. If Bruno Fernandes is not your team, Sean, I'll start crying live on air. Really, I won't start crying. I'll be very disappointed in you. We have Connor Cody, Virgil van Dijk, Andy Robertson, Rice at defensive midfield, Kevin De Bruyne and Bruno Fernandes, left wing Grealish, Manny right wing, Vardy up top, no chicken on a ball. No chicken on a ball, London player make it.
It's actually a cockroach, but
yeah, I think Steve McGrath is not going to be happy about that. He'll definitely address that in the group chat later on. But lads, all fantastic teams. I think we've all picked something like very similar, but like they're all fantastic inclusions. And the fact that that many Liverpool players got in there is just I suppose a testament to their title and what they've done last season. But
some guy's gonna click this, Keane, and he's just gonna hear my team be like, "This guy ain't got a clue what he's talking about."
They'll be in the comments later on, and you'll be crucified. But look, it is what it is. Look, but yeah, look, all fantastic teams, lads, and a great talking points tonight. So we're going to wrap up the pod there. But look, with regards to what's coming next in the Armchair Kickoff, we are not live tomorrow because there is the small matter of the League Cup semi-final with the Manchester Derby. So I'll be watching that game. I'll be active on social media all that day. So look, in that regard, we won't be live tomorrow, but we are back Thursday. With the MMA pod is back this Thursday. I am joined by Dean Griffin from SVG Cork, Irish Four Nations champion and ISKA champion Dylan Marr, professional fighter and title challenger Eric Kerr, and Andy Hickey as well. So we have a full panel breaking down the Conor McGregor versus Dustin Poirier fight. So do check that out. That'll be a good one. And on Friday, the London Lowdown is back also. And so I will be getting on to the lads, and we will have a panel of London fans in there for all the up-to-date London news, and also, all the chatter in the Premier League. And also on Friday, I am joined by Adam Stock from Madrid United as well, where we will be on a United show, Devil's Advocate, breaking down Manchester United's game against Manchester City in the derby, and also the Watford game on the weekend. So plenty of content to come this week, lads. So as always, we never leave you down in that regard. We're here nearly every day of the week, providing pods and all up-to-date football analysis as well. So I do thank all the lads for coming on. And look, we've basically gone 2 hours on the pod, which is this is our second longest podcast ever. We need to exclude the transfer deadline day one. from which kind of you see me nearly crying that day because United didn't get Sancho. But again, look, thanks to all lads for coming on. Thanks to Sean for coming on as well, and thanks everyone for the comments as well. They've been very good today. Even the one that said "Yo, Mama," I thought that one was brilliant. Shout out to you as well. But look, thanks to everyone for coming on today. Thanks everyone for watching, and look, we'll be back again Thursday.